back to this virtual course on discovering your gifts. We're in session 4, and today we're going to dive into actually discussing spiritual gifts. For you to get the most out of this session, it'll be best if you have already taken the spiritual gifts assessment that you can find on our website. If you haven't taken that assessment yet, pause this video and go complete the assessment at apexumc.org/spiritualgifts, and then come back and then finish this session with me. If you've already completed the assessment, you should have received an email with your top gifts listed. Have that handy today as we walk through the gifts so that you can refer to it if we cover your gifts today. In addition to your gift results, I invite you to have on hand a copy of the Discover Your Gifts application guide, a journal, and something to write with, because you're going to want to write some notes down as we go through this session today. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, there are lots of different spiritual gifts assessments that you can take, and there are a lot of different lists out there of what counts as spiritual gifts. If you just Google spiritual gifts, it can be really confusing and overwhelming with all of the results that you'll get. So the assessment that we use is called Spiritual Gifts Discovery. It's published by group, and it lists 16 different spiritual gifts, all of which are named in Scripture. So today in this session, we're going to walk through 8 of those 16 gifts. I'm going to tell you about the people that I know who have these gifts, so you can start to imagine how these gifts look in the real world, not just on paper. And if they are your gifts, how you may be able to incorporate them into your own life. So as we go through each gift, I invite you to have your journal out and write down the names of people in your life who you think have each gift. That'll help you wrap your head around the gifts and how you might partner with people in your life to use your gifts together for the sake of God's kingdom. So first on our list is the gift of administration. The gift of administration is the God-given ability to understand what makes an organization function and the special ability to plan and execute procedures that accomplish the goals of the group or organization. Let me tell you about my friend Marie. Marie's favorite thing in the world is her planner. She loves to organize people and events. She is a whiz at efficiency and effectiveness. She knows how to run the operations of an organization, oversee a budget process, and when she makes a goal, you better believe she knows how to make it happen. People with the gift of administration are excellent at working behind the scenes. They are dependable, they're not afraid of details, and they know how to get things done. Potential ways for an administrator to use their gifts are you can be part of a planning committee or organize events. You can be part of the operations side of a church or business, or partner with a visionary that you believe in to help make their visions reality. Think about Moses. He was a great visionary leader. His right-hand man was Aaron, his brother, whom God called to serve alongside Moses to oversee the details of the visions that God gave Moses. Because beside every great visionary is a great administrator who transforms visions into reality. The next gift is the gift of discernment. The gift of discernment is the God-given ability to distinguish between truth and error. It is being able to discern the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, truth and deception. The Apostle Peter had the gift of discernment. There's a story in Acts 5 that tells of a time when some were being dishonest and manipulative, and Peter was able to name it and confront them about it. My friend Michael is like this. He just has this sense about people, about if they are trustworthy and authentic, or if they are dishonest and not presenting their real self or their real motives. Now, I doubted his ability for a long time because I'm one who immediately likes everyone I meet. But over time, my friend has proved to be right over and over again. It's his spiritual gift to be able to discern truth from deception. People with this gift are really helpful in interview teams. They're great on any kind of leadership team that has to make difficult decisions or hear from a variety of people. They're really good at counseling or mentoring, coaching, and advising because they are intuitive, perceptive, decisive, and committed to being honest and truthful. Next up is the gift of encouragement. The famous encourager in Scripture is named Barnabas. His nickname was Son of Encouragement because he was always speaking words of encouragement to others in the early church. His encouragement may have been the secret strength to the Apostle Paul in all of his difficult journeys because Barnabas encouraged and supported Paul when it seemed like everyone else wanted to be his enemy. The gift of encouragement is the God-given ability to present words of comfort, consolation, and encouragement so as to strengthen or urge to action those who are discouraged or wavering in their faith. Let me tell you about Ed, who had the gift of encouragement. He was a classmate in seminary who always had something to say to build others up. Whether it was a word of comfort, a word of blessing, or a word of motivation to help us when we felt weary, Ed found great joy in lifting others up. People with the gift of encouragement are positive, affirming, motivating, and supportive. They know how to call you to be better without scolding you for not already being better, if you know what I mean. They know how to help people feel confident in their gifts and abilities, and they find great joy in helping others walk a little prouder and stand a little taller. People with this gift are wonderful people to do visitations with people who are ill or lonely or going through a hard time. They make great counselors or coaches. They're awesome small group leaders. They're great as part of a hospitality team. They work well with young people who often need extra encouragement. And they're great team members when working on a difficult task because they add so much to the team spirit and help their team members value one another and value themselves. The gift of evangelism is next. And evangelism is one of those words in Methodism that many of us cringe at when we hear it. But we don't need to treat evangelism like a curse word, because evangelism is simply how we invite people into the love of God. Sometimes that happens with words. Sometimes that happens with actions. Let me tell you about my friend, Nicole. Nicole has that magnetic personality that everyone wants to be around. Everyone wants to be her friend. And after talking with her for 10 minutes, you feel like you are already best friends. But more than her magnetism, Nicole naturally works God into her conversations with everyone, Christian or not, as if God were her best friend who she just met for lunch. And she lives out her Christian convictions so naturally, but so openly and gracefully that it makes people who know her want to live like that too. This is the gift of evangelism. Because just by being friends with her, people are drawn to want to be friends with God. The gift of evangelism is the God-given ability to effectively communicate the gospel to non-believers so that they respond in faith and move toward discipleship. People with the gift of evangelism are sincere and confident. They are often magnetic and influential, and they have a deep commitment to living out their faith convictions because what they really long for is for others to know Jesus as they do. The Apostle Paul had the gift of evangelism. Everywhere he went, he started a church because his love and zeal for God were contagious, and people wanted to be like him, and they wanted to be part of groups that he organized. People with the gift of evangelism work well on hospitality teams, as new member shepherds, on mission teams, as small group leaders, or in any relational setting where they can connect with people and can connect people with God. The gift of faith is next up, and it's the ability to trust God unwaveringly no matter what. My friend Jane has this amazing ability to find God at work no matter how hard life is. She could be having the worst day of her life and still look out the window and spot a rainbow and know that God is speaking to her. Jane's faith is so strong that she trusts God is with her all the time, working things together for good. The gift of faith is the God-given ability to act on God's promises with confidence and unwavering belief in God's ability to fulfill his purposes. People with the gift of faith are willing to pack up and fly across the world to settle in a new land with a new job if they sense God calling them to do so. They take risks when others are doubtful. They make decisions with the full confidence that God will be with them, doing what God promised God would do. They are assured, hopeful, optimistic, and inspiring. If you have the gift of faith, your unwavering trust in God makes you well suited for prayer teams or leading small groups or working with kids or youth. It makes you a great part of a leadership team because you'll help your teammates remember to trust in God above all else. How you live out your deep and abiding faith in your daily life has a lasting impact on those around you. So whatever you do, don't hide the faith that strengthens and empowers you. Next up is the gift of giving. The gift of giving is the God-given ability to contribute money and resources to the work of the Lord with cheerfulness and generosity. Those with the gift of giving, sometimes called generosity, are people who find great enjoyment in sharing what they have. I think of Gordon, who would share the shirt off his back if someone needed one. He has a financial mind and has always been a saver, so he has resources to share, and he truly loves to help meet needs when he can. People with the gift of giving are responsible, resourceful, and charitable. They are savvy with finances and can be very helpful serving on finance teams or assisting with fundraising. They can be helpful making long-term financial plans with people and organizations, establishing foundations and trusts, and making sure that funding is secured for ongoing ministry. So many churches and organizations are able to fund amazing transformational ministry because people with the gift of giving generations before had the foresight and generosity to establish funds for today. The next gift is the gift of helps, and I want to tell you about my friend Heather. The gift of helps is the God-given ability to accomplish practical and necessary behind-the-scenes tasks, which frees up, supports, and meets the needs of others. Heather is the first to volunteer whenever there is a need. There's no job too small, too ordinary, too behind the scenes for her to do. She doesn't want the spotlight. She will never speak in public. She doesn't want to be in charge. She just wants to put her hands to work and do something to make a difference. People with the gift of helps are reliable, loyal, dependable, and helpful. They find spiritual fulfillment in behind-the-scenes service. And they can serve on just about any team, any capacity, because they make the nitty-gritty of ministry happen. While they don't want the spotlight, remember that they do still need appreciation and recognition, so don't forget to thank the helpers around you. The last spiritual gift we'll discuss today is the gift of hospitality. The gift of hospitality is the God-given ability to care for people by providing friendly reception, food, and lodging. My grandmother had the gift of hospitality. She loved entertaining people in her home. She loved making their favorite food, making sure their glass was full, making sure everyone felt comfortable and at ease. She had this amazing ability to make people feel comfortable in her presence just by being who they were. Nobody had to put on airs around her. You could relax and just be you, and know that you would be seen and appreciated for the unique person God made you to be. People with the gift of hospitality are inviting, they're warm and gracious and caring. They look for opportunities to gather people together, to host people in their homes. They're always looking for ways to connect their friends with their friends because they want people to know the joy and satisfaction of meaningful relationships. And they are committed to creating environments where people feel valued and cared for. If you have the gift of hospitality, then you would make an excellent host for a small group or Bible study. You don't even need to teach the study or lead the group. Providing a comfortable environment to gather is a great gift that you can offer. You might also be part of a bereavement team to provide food and comfort for people who grieve. Or you can serve at a food pantry or soup kitchen. You might also find great enjoyment serving on a hospitality team or as a new member shepherd where you can welcome new people into your community. The gift of hospitality is key to the church's ability to make people feel comfortable and at home so they can open their hearts to hear from God. So if you have the gift of hospitality, the church needs you. In the next session, we'll discuss the remaining 8 spiritual gifts listed on our assessment. And until then, I want to leave you with some homework. In your journal or in a small group, take some time to reflect on the following question. Spend some time processing how you have experienced and used your top spiritual gifts. What do you enjoy about your gifts? How have you tried to use them, and what did you learn from those experiences? What opportunities to use your gifts interest you? When we come back together for session 5, we'll dig into the remaining 8 gifts. I'll see you then.